Pleasure to meet all of you. So you know my name. My name is Kwame Uswansa. Um, reason why I asked you why, if you've ever been called a leader, is because I believe that everybody is a leader. Everybody is a leader. But your leadership is called into a specific area. So what they told you that you, Abigail, right? My kid sister is called Abigail, so I would remember it. Why they told you that is probably maybe they've seen you have certain qualities that could occupy a position. So what they wanted you to do was to fit into a position, but being put in a position doesn't necessarily mean that you're a leader. So people confuse positions with leadership, right? But everybody is a leader. But in order to be able to find your leadership, you need to find which place I have been called to lead at. So, Sam is a business owner, but Alexis may not be able to run her own business. So, if Alexis finds herself in Sam's space and she wants to build a business, she might fail. That doesn't mean that Alexis is a failure. It means that she found herself in the wrong space trying to implement her leadership abilities and they could fit in that space. Does that make sense? And so what it is with everybody is you need to figure out that place that you've been called into to lead. That is the only way you become successful. And there are a lot of people who are round, who are square pegs being fit into round holes and they keep on failing. So the first thing I'm admonishing you to do is to find your true leadership. Identifying your leadership is what would cause you to be successful. The fact that somebody inspired you with what they're doing in whatever space doesn't necessarily mean that you will be successful in that place. So today, I hope that after this entire session, you would be able to learn and find your true leadership and then fit yourself in that space and then be successful. Great. Awesome. So I was trying to get a picture of this place before it looked like this, and I couldn't find one, but this is downtown Saginaw, right? So this is how it looks like. And I heard that this place was a farmlands. So there was nothing over here. And now it looks like this. How did it become like this? It was a farmland. They were feeding the nation. It was amazing. It was good. Everybody saw food, crops, and everything. It was good. And people were okay with it, but somebody saw this. Where was this? This entire place, as it looks right now, was in somebody's imagination. So what everybody was looking was a farm. People enjoyed coming in to come and work, and then they would feed the nation. But somebody saw the entire place and said, no, I think there's more to this than the farmland. This could be a place that would feed the nation and would also develop people that would work the nation. And so in 1966, everything changed. And Saginaw Valley was born into this place as it is right now. So today we're talking about creativity and innovation in leadership. So I want you to bring yourself into a place where you can put your mind to work, because innovation is what differentiates between a leader and a follower. This man has inspired me a lot. Well, I didn't tell you about me. I am a software engineer who has metamorphosed a little bit into what I'm doing right now. I love to code. I love to build stuff for people. But at a certain point in my life, I realized that doing that wasn't giving me fulfillment. Because I was trying to find, what is it that I was actually born to do? What is it? Am I born to sit behind a computer and writing code all the time? Then I realized that, no, I love to pour into people. I love to share my experience. I love to see people do well. So I would literally sacrifice my life to be in people's spaces, to make sure that they're doing well. Yes, I was telling the other class a story of how I made it to Saginaw yesterday, made it to Michigan yesterday. It was a very, it's a bizarre story if I want to tell you, but let me do that in 1 minute. So I was supposed to catch a flight at 10 a.m. Well, currently I work as a visiting scholar at Dartmouth College in New Hampshire. So I have to fly from Boston to Michigan, right? That means I have to catch a bus. So I need to catch a bus at 4 a.m. from Dartmouth campus to Boston to be able to catch a flight at 10 a.m. Then I woke up very early. 3:30 a.m. I was up. I got ready, freshened up and everything so I can catch the bus. The bus leaves at 4:40, 40 minutes past 4 a.m. And by 18 minutes past 4, I was ready. But unfortunately, I'm new. I just got into that space. And so I don't have a lot of things available to me. I live in Norwich. Norwich is 5 minutes from Dartmouth campus if you are in a car. And it's about a 20-minute walk if you don't have a car. So it's 4:18. If I leave home right now, I can walk and get to campus early enough to catch the bus before it leaves. So I started walking briskly. 4 a.m. Nobody's there. Like, it's tad dark, right? I'm a black man in a predominantly white community that nobody knows me, and I'm just walking over there. And in the dark, I get to campus at 4:40, but I have to walk to the bus terminal to pick the bus, and the bus moved at 4:40. So I missed the bus. But I have to be here to come and give this lecture. So how do I do it? So I called the office and they said, well, the next stop of the bus is in Lebanon. So if you could catch the bus at Lebanon, then you can join it. Typical African man, I thought, Lebanon is probably maybe a few 20-minute walk or whatever. Let's just do it. So in a hurry, trying to briskly walk to get there, I realized I kept walking and I'm never reaching. So I looked at Google Maps and I realized that, oh shoot, the thing is actually an hour and 20-minute walk if I want to do it. And it's 4 a.m. I don't have a car. I don't have a bike. But I need to get to Lebanon to be able to catch the next bus. So I said, let me walk. I walked through the dark in the cold, and I was freaking tired. But I didn't want to give up because I realized that if I've walked so far and I give up, then what's the point? I need to be here. And I wanted to do this real bad. Like I wanted to see you guys. I wanted to share my experience with you and help you grow. And so I doubted the consequences and then walked and got to Lebanon. Tired, but I sat in there, caught the bus. But because it wasn't the first bus, that meant that I would be late to the airport. I get to the airport and they had already boarded. I literally run to get to the airport and they had already boarded. So I was like, oh, please come on, but I just heard them talk about this. And the lady said, sir, I'm sorry, they just closed the gate. You can't go. Oh my God. They will let me try if I can put you in the next plane. So they put me in the next flight. And the next flight from Boston to Chicago, I got there. I get down, the boarding starts at 1:30. And I arrive at 1:30. So literally, in order to get on the next flight, I have to, and boarding is by 10 minutes, it'll be done. So I have to run through every checkpoint to get to the flight before they close the gate on me again. You should come and see me as Asafa Powell. I was literally running in the airport. But eventually I got there and I was the last person they were waiting for to board. I boarded and then we left. Fine. And I caught the flight from Flint to this place. What am I saying? I'm saying that as a leader, every time there would be obstacles that would come across your path that would stop you from achieving what you're supposed to achieve. But the difference between you and the follower is your ability to surmount those things and come up with ways that you would be able to achieve what you're supposed to achieve. Making sense? Great stuff. So there's a paradox that happens with what innovation is, because this is what we're talking about here today. And that is that there's nothing new under the sun. Everything that you are supposed to achieve, everything you're supposed to work on as a leader is already here. Everything, anything you need is already here. This is a chair. It's made of rubber and metal, right? But this chair wasn't here a couple of years ago. Did that mean that the rubber and metal wasn't available? It was. What happened was that somebody else figured out that, oh, if I'm able to extract rubber from this tree and there's metal from this stone and we mine it together, we can put all of it together and make this chair. And we would come and put it over here and we can sit on it and have a lecture. And so innovation emerges from the creative combination of elements that already exist. So when you are able to find your space, the area within which you've been called to lead, when you find that place and you go there, there are things that you would meet over there. The difference between you and whoever is in that space already is how you are able to combine the elements that are available to do new things. That would impact that space and get you to become better than whoever was there before. And so everything we need is already available. When you find your space, your niche, wherever you work at, wherever you're supposed to influence, when you find that place and you go there, listen, don't complain. I used to work in a space where when I went, nothing was available. They literally didn't give me anything. But I told myself that I'm here to make a difference. Because there were a lot of people complaining. You know, the old staff over there, they're very toxic. They're saying stuff, they don't want to work and they are not being paid well and everything. But they didn't hire me to come and complain. They hired me to come and work and give them something else. So I get there, they don't give me a laptop. I'm a software engineer. You're supposed to give me a laptop to work. Nothing at all. Oh, just put an internet in the office for us to be able to, like fast internet so we can be able to work. No, they wouldn't do it. But they hired you to work. So what do? My colleagues were getting frustrated and I said, guys, we need to prove ourselves to these people that we are worth every penny that they will pay us. And we want to prove to them that this thing that they brought us to do makes sense. And it is the next phase of the business. They shouldn't waste their time on there. And so for 3 years, we sacrificed our lives to show them what is possible in a business that had zero money. In the first year, we made almost $1 million for them with no resources they gave us. We used our own stuff, motivated ourselves, sat down every day and worked and made them money. First year, second year, we made $2.5 million. I left there on the third year. By the time I was leaving, they were almost getting to $4 million. Why? Because I didn't want to see challenges. Every challenge I saw gave me an opportunity to do something else. And so it is your mind over the matter. When you find yourself in any space, it is how you are perceiving that space that matters, not necessarily what you see. Because every time, if you're looking for obstacles, there's obstacles everywhere. When you were coming to lectures today, there's a staircase you need to climb. Somebody would say, oh man, it's tiring to climb stairs. Man, like, come on, man. Can't you just put an elevator so we just stand in there and then bring us up to this place? It's possible, but would you climb the stairs to come for lectures? Is the lecture very important to you that you would climb the stairs to come over here? Same thing applies in your workspace. When you find yourself in a workplace or in your business or wherever it is what is in your mind against what you are seeing. Whatever you are perceiving, that is what would make the difference. That is what would distinguish you between you being a leader or you being a follower. In that workplace, I told you, it's the biggest television network in Ghana right now. That's why I worked at. And because of the kind of attitude I took to that place, I became contagious. I got people to work for me to do things that all the old people that were working there already didn't do. Difference between a leader and a follower. Mind over matter. Everything is available. The only difference is that, what do you see? And so true innovation resides not in the things, but in your mind, in your thoughts. The difference between a leader and a follower is vision. You know, when I got into that space, I saw something else that nobody else was seeing. People have been working in that company for 20 years. And I was their new guy. And I just said, this is possible. There are things that we could achieve with this company that you guys are not looking at. So I had a vision of what I wanted to accomplish with that company. By the time I'm done, I should be indispensable. Like when I say I want to leave, they would want to force me to stay. And that's exactly what happened. I quit that job and it took them almost a year to replace me. Vision. Leaders have vision. Your ability to see beyond your eyes is what would separate you from every other person. So what are you seeing? Creativity lies in how we use, in how things are used, not in the things themselves. So we came here, we're in class, you have a pen, you're writing, you have an iPad, you have a book. Do you know that the same book that you're using to write, that you're writing in right now, somebody else could use that book for another thing? Somebody could pick that book and slap your face with it, right? Would that mean the book is used to slap people? Somebody could use the pen to stab you and you'd get hurt. Does that mean we use a pen to hurt people? So it's not in the thing, it is how you use the thing. So when you get yourself, whichever space you find yourself in your company, the things that are given to you, it's not in the things that are given to you. It is how you use that thing to cause a difference. Everybody has a laptop. In the company I went, everybody uses a freaking laptop. But I could use my laptop to work for them to be able to make millions of dollars. So it's not in the thing. What have you been giving? We're here in this class right now. Prof is going to pour a lot into you this semester. You will learn a lot. He's giving you things. It's not in the things he's giving you. It is how you will use the things he would give you. That would bring the difference between you and every other person. Because the thing is that all of you are in different sectors of the economy. How will you influence that sector? With the information given you. So if somebody is in finance and Prof gives him lectures in this lecture, and you are in daycare or you are in health, are you going to apply the same things the same way? You've been given tools. It is how you use those things. And so perspective is the difference between what has been given and what we're seeing, the end product. Everybody has eyes. Sam, let me ask you a question. You have a girlfriend? You have a girlfriend? Why not? Okay, I'm a married man. And have you dated before? Dated before. So your ex-girlfriend, right? Why did you choose her? Let's have a question. Why did you choose her? Yeah, common interests. What got you to have a conversation? Like the first conversation was what? Looks. She was hot, right? So everybody, Sam had a girlfriend that was hot. But they're broken up now. Why? Let's just say Sam intends to get married to a lady. Now, Sam would have to look beyond looks. And Sam would have to look beyond connections. Because maybe in the beginning of the relationship, there seemed to have been a lot of connection. And she was hot. She fit in the profile that Sam was looking for. What am I saying? It is very easy to look at things, but very hard to see things. When you want to settle in life, for instance, in your business or whichever place you find yourself to work at, if you want to be successful, you need to be able to see and not look. For looking is very common. Everybody has eyes. Once you have eyes, you can look at things. I'm looking at all of you right now, but I can't see beyond what I'm looking at. So if I want to engage you further, I have to now start imagining in my mind, what kind of person would you be at? And in the current state that you're in, where do I want to take you? If I want to be in a relationship with you, where do I want to take you to? That is what will determine whether we will be successful or we wouldn't be successful. Sam had a beautiful girl, but they broke up because he couldn't see where all of that was going to go to. Sorry, I'm picking on you, brother, but I love it. So, the secret to your success is being able to see and not just look. And in business, in wherever you find yourself, is the same thing that it calls for. Your ability to see and not look. And so, true leaders thrive on vision. If you can't envision something, you can't lead. Leadership is all about vision. That's the difference between everybody who is a successful leader and somebody who's a failure. Vision. Vision is the capacity to see beyond your eyes. I've said this already. I'm a Christian, so sometimes I put scriptures in stuff because it teaches me a lot. And the wisest man in the Bible, Solomon, said that the rich and the poor have one thing in common. The Lord created each one. All of us, we believe the Lord created us. So why is one person rich and the other person poor? Their eyes. What they've been able to see. Because if you put a rich man in a poor man's space, they would turn the place around. And if you put a poor man in a rich man's space, they would turn the place around. It is their ability to see. What do you see? So we could put all of you in one space and somebody would see something different, another person would see another thing different, and then that would determine whether all of you would be successful or you'd be failures. So today, I'm challenging you, whichever space you find yourself or where you want to see yourself, whichever part of the American economy you want to work in, what will you see? That will determine whether you'll be successful there or not. I have a cousin who's been spitting bombs about every place that he works at because he's just lazy. What would you see? You could be in places where the work environment is toxic. I just told you one. But I was successful, and I'm here today having a conversation with you guys. And so you need to challenge the status quo. Innovative leaders explore and test a path. Thinking beyond the norm is where change happens. So wherever you find yourself, there's a norm. There's a way things are done, right? In your office, in your business, in your career, in school, in class, there's a way things are done. But if you want to be an innovative leader, you need to challenge how things are done. That is the only way you make a difference. Innovative leadership is the capacity to think beyond the norm, to be able to step out of the boundaries and believe in your abilities to solve problems. Problems. There are a gazillion problems in the world. And did you know that every problem can be a business? It's how you are perceiving that problem. How you are perceiving that problem. So you need to challenge the status quo. If you find yourself in class and prof says, well, so I've given you an assignment, you're supposed to work on that, and you're supposed to submit the assignment in 2 weeks. Or let's say you work in a company and all of you, my friend works in finance, and you go and work for him and you're looking for a promotion. Maybe it's tax season. You're supposed to file people's taxes for them, right? And he's hired 10 people and you're part of them, but you're looking for a raise. What would distinguish you from every other person working for him? It is the extra things that you would put in. So maybe you work 40 hours, maybe 8 hours or 5 hours a day on that project. And then you're supposed to close at 5 a.m. and then 5 p.m. Then you tell yourself, by 5 p.m. I would have done maybe 4 companies. How about if I put in an extra 1 hour? That would make me be able to do maybe 5 or maybe 2 more companies to it. So that would make me 6. And so by the time the tax season is done, they hire 10 people. Every other person was able to do taxes for, let's say, 8 companies, and you did 15. How did you do that? You challenged the status quo. The norm was you're supposed to work 4 hours in a day and you're supposed to file taxes for 4 companies. And you did extra, and now your boss sees that, oh my God, this person, he takes initiative, and so he deserves a raise. And so now you were all hired on the same day, and you would be giving a raise, and you now become their supervisor. That is how you get promoted. Your ability to challenge the status quo and to do things different. So wherever you want to work at, if you don't go there with the mindset of challenging the status quo and doing things a little different, you'd be like every other person. If you want to be like every other person, then I don't think you should be in this class. And so the essence of leadership is that leaders are raw materials. You sitting here right now, you are a raw material. But you're always evolving. We're evolving. How you were 5 years ago is different from how you are right now. The way you thought 5 years ago is different from the way you think right now. You are a raw material. You would keep evolving. You would keep changing. And it's the same thing you bring into the space where you find yourself to work or your space you find yourself to lead. You need to identify the fact that you are a raw material that's evolving. Other than that, if you think that you are just an item that exists in that place, then you would just be an item that exists in that place. But you are evolving. You need to appreciate your evolution process. Leadership demands a spirit of innovation. You can't be a leader in the space wherever and not innovate. Look, in the US is I think is one of the places where you can be very stuck up because systems are in place. Like this place, everything has been set for you. So if you just want to do stuff for doing its sake, then yeah, the systems are in place. So you can be stuck up. You could be a robot. It's like you working at Tesla. At Tesla, when you go to the Gigafactory, all the robots are there. They've been set to do certain things in a certain way, and that's all they do in the day. Assemble 10 cars a day, and they'll do it. But for you, you're human, and so there's a spirit of innovation that's needed in the space where you find yourself to work at. That would differentiate you from every other person. So the way things are done, how are you changing it? That is the thing that will determine whether you are actually a leader or you are a follower. Leadership is about changing and not maintaining. Anybody can manage. You know, there are a lot of managers around, right? Everybody's looking for a management role. Not a lot of people are looking for leadership roles. Like I said, we confuse management positions with leadership. Leaders don't maintain, they change. So you did this way, and this year you made 10% profit. Okay, if your boss is pleased with the 10% profit that you gave him this year, why would they increase the profit margin and ask you to give him 15% next year? It's because your boss have seen that I can't be stuck at 10%. I want more. And it's the same thing with you. When you are a leader, you always are looking for more. You don't have to get used. Leaders get bored easily. So like if things are happening in your space and you are so used to it and you are okay, you're not a leader. You need to question your leadership. Maybe that place is not for you to lead at. Shift, go somewhere else. Because there you would challenge yourself. You would disturb the tradition. Because I told you, at my workplace, the tradition was, leaders, the management of the company had their own issues and the staff have their own issues. There's this disparity between managers and staff. And so staff are toxic. You say I should work 8 hours a day. Okay, I'll just come to the office and then be there for 8 hours. And when it's 5 p.m., I close and I go home. And the business was sinking. The business was in debt. And they didn't care. You've hired me. So it's your responsibility to pay me for the hours I will be there to work. But I had to, when I got in here, I realized that, you can't be doing the same things and expecting different results. That's insanity. And so I started doing things different. And we had the results to show for it. And now, my brother will tell you, that television network now is hiring all the celebrities in Ghana to work for them because somebody taught them how to make money looking into technology. And so now they are raking in a lot of money and they're able to afford to pay people. The staff are happy now because the company is able to generate enough revenue. Why? Because somebody had to step in there and change the tradition. What would you be? Would you be somebody that would change the tradition? You would turn things around when you find yourself in your workplace or in your business or wherever? I started this conversation talking about how I struggled to move from Dartmouth campus here. Do you know what that taught me? I'm not in Ghana. That's what it taught me. It taught me that things are different in the States. If I want to go somewhere, I need to be there a little earlier. But the thing is that I left home early. I didn't leave home late, right? It's a 5-minute drive from my house to campus. And I left home 22 minutes before time. So what it taught me was what I needed to have done. First thing when I go to Dartmouth was, guys, can you give me a car? Or can you give me a bike? Because if I rode a bike, it would take me maybe 8-10 minutes to get there and I wouldn't miss the bus. But I did because I didn't ask for it. I have grown. The next time I get an opportunity to work with any university again, I'm in Dartmouth for the term, 3 months, now till end of November to work. When I have another opportunity to work with any other university, now when I go there, I know what to ask for in the first week of me being there. Just so that I won't find myself in crisis again. I have grown. When you are a leader and you find yourself in crisis, it helps you to grow. If you give up in crisis, you have to question your leadership a little bit. And that's what's happening in our situations right now. A lot of people are just giving up. Little crisis and they coil. Little crisis, they coil. I told you, I walked an hour and 20 minutes. I could have stopped. I could have just called Prof and say, Prof, I'm sorry. I tried coming, but I'm sorry. It was just so hard. Like I couldn't walk an hour and 20 minutes to go pick a bus. But I wanted to be here. I know what this would mean to me, and I know what it would mean to you. See, I'm more interested in telling you what I'm telling you now because I know if not everybody else, one person would get impacted with what I'm saying. And if that person eventually becomes successful and they also pass on the knowledge that I'm sharing with that person, do you know what we're doing? We're creating a ripple of impact makers. And so you would make an impact in your workspace, and then the other person that you pour into would also make an impact in that space, and there'll be a ripple effect of this conversation we're having right now. So what if I didn't come? Crisis taught me to grow. It is the only way you grow as a leader. You need to embrace crisis. You don't need to run away from crisis. But there's something called experience. And I think experience is an enemy. Experience is an enemy to all of us. We love to dwell in our past experiences. It's cool when you're talking about your past experience, like, yo, I did this and we got this and this was it's amazing. But once you get bored every time I have a conversation with you, I keep on telling you about what I did yesterday and and this was that. Once you get bored, like every freaking day, I'm telling you the same thing. But it's a huge, it's huge, it's successful. But I keep on saying, won't you be bored? But what is happening with a lot of leaders is they are hovering and enjoying talking about all the beautiful and the great achievements that they've made over the years. And they keep talking about that and blah, blah, blah. And this could happen to you in your business or in where you work at. You could literally brood over your experience and be overjoyed with it that it becomes a prison. You wouldn't want to grow out of it. Like you are so, oh my God, drooling over it with excitement, whatever you just experienced right now, that you wouldn't grow.
Don't let your experience become a prison to you. If you are a leader, you long to make history. So every time you're trying to do something else. Every time, something else. Every time, something else. Every time, something else. That's how you are supposed to run as a leader. So let me run through this quick. These are 10 attitudes that I believe that every innovative leader has to have. And this is what we're talking about here today: creativity and innovation. Number one is that leaders believe nothing is impossible. So when you go into your space, like I spoke about crisis, when you see challenges, don't let it bother you. Know that it is possible. The fact that it hasn't been done now doesn't mean it's not possible. It just hasn't been done. You need to figure out a way to get it done. I had a client back in the day who would challenge everything I did. Like, you would write the best code, you would build the best concept, you write the best strategy and give to him, and he would tell you, Kwame, this is shit. Every time. And I'm like, but I just spent hours. Like, so before I would give him anything, I would take my time and dig deep within me and write the best and go and give it to him. And he'll just look at that and he'll just be shaking his head. He's like, Kwame, you know you could do better. And every time he did that, you know what that did to me? It told me that, oh my God, there's so much more that I could tap into that I didn't. And every time he did that, I was able to give him something extra and he became proud of me. I did things for them that won as awards in that company because somebody challenged me to keep tapping into me and finding new things and doing the impossible. Impossible is nothing. Leaders believe there's no one way of solving problems. So when you do it one way and they tell you this is shit, look for another way to get it done. Do it. Leaders find new ways to solve old problems. The company I worked for back in the day, they were in debt. They owed a lot of staff salaries. They couldn't pay them on a month. I found a new way of doing things, making them money, and now they can pay everybody and they're all excited over there. Leaders never surrender to limitations. Don't ever surrender. You would get hit with limitations, but don't surrender to it. Leaders are not afraid to fail. Nana Kwame will tell you, we have failed woefully. When we were in college, we started a business that failed woefully. That business would have been $1 billion by now, I'm pretty sure, if it has succeeded. But we had no experience and we didn't get anybody to mentor us, to help us walk the path, and we failed. He didn't stop. Doesn't he own a finance business right now? Am I not here from Ghana having a conversation with you? I didn't stop. Same thing applies to you. Leaders are willing to try anything once. Leaders challenge their own success. So if you succeed today, challenge it that you want to do more tomorrow. Leaders think of things that never was and they attempt them. Leaders challenge convention and tradition. I've already spoken about that. And leaders engage the unknown. You will be placed in spaces that is hard. You need to figure out a way to succeed over there. Let me round up. And so you are the solution. You need to challenge yourself, believe in yourself, and inspire yourself. And if you have people that you're working with, you need to place a demand on them and let them help them find their own potential and believe in their ability to solve problems. You need to trust people. That's what leaders do. You trust the people that you have around you. You are a solution. And so finally, what am I saying? I'm saying that as you're here right now, you are more than you see. There's a well of wealth inside of you that you need to tap into. You don't have to stop at the surface. You know, a lot of people enjoy surface glory, right? I'm not looking for surface glory. And it's the same thing with you. You just did something small and everybody's excited and they are praising you and you are, hey, hello, hi, you're happy, excited about that. There's more. Can you dig deep and tap into the well of wealth inside of you? What do you see you to be at? To be? So in the next 10 years, where do you see you? How will you be changing the world? How would you be challenging the status quo? And so I'm asking you this question: that what would you see differently today? What would you see differently today? So, to conclude, this is what I want us to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You're 9 people. I want us to have 3 groups of 3, right? And I want us to do this real quick in 5 minutes. Let's do this quick as possible, and then we can move away from here. I call this the visionary gaze interactive canvas. What I want you to do is take a sheet of paper, groups of 3, and then break it into 3. So write at one point, write C, another point, write vision, another point, innovate, right? And on the C side, I want you to think of something from the world as you see now. It could be anything, right? To write the challenge, whatever challenge there is. And then on the vision side, with the concept of the eyes that look are common, but the eyes that see are rare, what else can you see on that challenge, right? Write that. Where do you see that challenge beyond? And then innovate, write what's the pathway that you think you can use to solve that problem. So it's a problem, where I see the problem to be, and then how do I get there? So let's do that quick right now. It's 12.